and you don't even know if you haven't done it, man. It's so great. It's so great.
Sir, again, how does that enhance your reality when you wake up the next day not knowing what you did or who you did it with, or maybe if you may have even killed or raped somebody? How do you know that, sir? How do you think that's
Oh,
enjoyable for the real world?
Rape
Mr.
and murder
Batman,
is
I
like
don't
an
think you know
automatic.
what alcohol is. I think you saw it in like a fucking movie once, like that warned teens off against it.
No, sir. I dealt with an alcoholic parent, and I don't deal with alcoholics anymore,
Like,
sir, because I know them a mile away, and you are what's called a drunkazoid. You, sir, can only live for the very next drink. You worship at the alcohol. You worship at the altar of the
that's
bar,
not
sir.
true.
You worship at the altar of getting out of the real world because you're trying to escape truth. You're trying to escape Jesus Christ, sir, and you need to repent because
Is
you're
that
going
what
to
it is?
hell.
Is that what it is? And I'm going to hell for it. Your fucking Jesus is way shittier than every Jesus that anybody else has ever told me about. Your Jesus is like, oh, he drinks on the weekend. Let's get him.
I mean,
He's
I'm
like,
not even
"Hey, you know what?
religious, but
The
drinking
guy
to the
works
point of
hard.
blackout is pretty degenerate, my guy.
Yeah, but you guys are assuming that he does this 24/7, though. I mean, you haven't even asked
Yeah,
him how often he
well,
drinks.
Oh, I know how often he drinks. That's every single day. Because again, every day I've
Ask
talked
him.
to him, he's been either drunk or he's been recovering from a drunk.
Ask him how often he
Never
drinks.
seen me with a hangover. I don't come into Discord with a hangover. What sense does that even make?
So why would I believe him when he says he only drinks on certain occasions when he drinks he doesn't remember what he does? When he
What I
blacks
said-
out,
Why would you?
when
Why
it
would you
kills
assume
him
he does it every
internally,
day?
when it tickles him from the inside out. No, sir. I'm not interested in dealing with a drunkazoid.
Well, you don't have to.
Because your daddy beat you when you
Drunkazoid.
drank. Your daddy hit the whiskey bottle and then he hit you. It's sad. I don't care.
Hey, Clint, that's not appropriate, man.
The thing is,
I'm not just a Southern hillbilly. I'm a Christian hillbilly.
no.
That's
He
actually my
literally
previous
said
screen
the
name.
reason why he doesn't like alcohol is because his father would.
kind of see why people got Clint blocked now.
Well,
I don't understand how a man can make a judgment of another man.
I block him when he swears a lot because I'm not usually
Judge not so that you may not be judged.
Man, I just want to
he's
play
not
some
swearing too much
Valorant.
now, so it's all right.
Well, maybe we should start off by
There
asking
was
Clint,
that one
how
guy
often do you drink?
block me for because I swear a lot.
Well, I used to.
Who was that? The Northern Irish guy. He actually likes me now.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
guy.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
The funny thing is,
Vermont separatist, right?
like we were talking, and I was like, you know what? Here's the thing. You do you. I understand where you're coming from, and that's a good place. People are coming from. I was like, you do you. And somebody chimed in and said, I've never heard anybody say anything like that in an abortion debate ever. I'm like, no, I understand where he's coming from. I think it's a good place. That's fine.
What about this Putin summit? Is it going on right now? I'm trying to
What-
I
remember.
can't wait till the pictures of both of them shirtless riding horses come out.
How are you
It'll
looking?
be so glorious.
Fuck that is. It won't be a picture, it'll be a painting.
Wait, is Canada Skyrim?
No.
I mean, it's like the same place on
Categorically,
the map.
Skyrim is Skyrim, sir.
Switzerland.
You know what the funniest thing Trump has ever said ever in his
Who
presidency?
the fuck said
Somebody said,
Skyrim was Canada?
if you could
I
make
know.
one thing better about yourself, what would it be? He'd be like, he said my hair. It's like, all right. I like this guy all of a
You
sudden.
still have hair, Clint?
Darth, do you want a really hard question?
First blonde president ever.
He looks very English.
That's a fucking lie.
For sure.
I don't know, maybe Scottish. I've been watching Still Game a lot, and they seem to have.
The press
I
conference is
think
on
I
right
think
now.
his real lineage is German, but he does look very English.
I don't like judgments, but I do make observations and what is it called? I listen and I observe mostly.
It's the opposite. I shout a bunch of shit and see how people react to it.
That's a part of experimentation.
Yeah, it is. And I think Trump does the same thing. He just yells a bunch of shit, sees what comes next, and then he's like, oh, now I know who you are.
He probably is a little more nuanced than that, but I can see that to some degree.
Trump is pretty smart, but he's not a career politician, so he can't prevaricate. Meaning he hasn't had years of practicing how to put on a face for an audience. He is a businessman first and foremost.
Here is the
You
thing.
think businessmen don't
Why
have years of
do
practice putting on a
politicians
face for an
speak
audience?
like this in a way that no other human being on fucking earth speak in this weird fucking cadence? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I actually there may be
Really
we
absorb
can
what they're saying.
we can look at that in nature and see certain patterns within nature as to why they do that. You should look up hedgehog elephant and see how
Well,
they
the
work
weird
within nature.
thing is, I spent a lot of years in the army. I can actually talk just.
I wonder if it's not them being very measured about every word that comes out of their mouth.
Well, there's a power in rhythm.
No,
I learned it from my drill sergeants. You know, they make a music with their head.
Ah, yeah, exactly. Like I said, a rhythm.
You need to make your bed. Say you need to make your bed. Then you'd be like, well, or what? They say you. Hospital corners on your fucking bed.
What is this Jordan Peterson jump?
Is it necessary? Is it necessary for your goals, Clint?
What?
Oh, I don't think I'm bed anymore, man.
That's the
But
thing.
I'm just talking about my drill sergeant.
What are your goals?
Right, everyone has to know their goals.
I have two current goals, and it's weird because they're each other. There's a promotion I can get work.
Where do you work, Clint?
You work scenario. Oh.
And they'll pay for me to go back to school. License back, but they're also offering me a promotion. And I can't do
Amazon's
both at
awesome
once.
company, man. Stay in Amazon, for sure.
It's a shit job.
Come on, big one.
Unionize
Can you-
Amazon. Unionize. You make less shit.
Can you take the going back to school and then forgo the job you have and get a new one?
Yeah, you ever hear about the Aesop's fable of the dog who steals the bone off his master's table?
Yeah.
A bone in the water. And then he barks at the other dog and loses the bone.
Yeah.
I'm like, which bone am I after?
The one that's being given to you.
Or the bone I want?
You should pick the one that's being given to you.
That's a good answer. So that at this point, it's all bones off of sure Bezos's table.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I don't know how to explain it, but if you had something, right, Clint, and something took it from you, you would have an emotional state where you would be out of order, right? So you would not want something taken from you without you having granted that thing permission to take it. So therefore, you wouldn't take something without permission from the table in this instance.
Well, in this instance, both are being given.
They're both being given, right? So which one satisfies your necessary goals?
Here's where it gets weird. The promotion, I have to get the promotion and hold the promotion for a year. Job that I really want.
Shit, I've been muted this whole
Which
time.
is
Muted
like
myself.
medical
I've been
rep
talking
time.
this whole fucking time.
Holy shit, that sucks, Merc. Merc.
America. Fuck yeah.
If I play it right, I
I thought
can
you were
have
pretty
both.
quiet there, Marich.
How awesome is my name? It's fucking awesome.
It's pretty fucking based, my friend.
Clint and I were having a wonderful discussion, guys.
No, you won't.
Here's the thing,
You
man.
were. This discussion is making me.
If I-
So
if I
everything
take the
that's on that
promotion-
website is fucking horseshit. Everything's a lie.
Well, why don't we just not talk about it then?
Are
Why-
you
why-
presupposing
why would
that
they-
everything is a lie? Is that a knowledge claim?
Oh, come on.
They just made stuff up.
Promotion.
I called that phone number.
The other one.
Dude answered it. Didn't sound like Darth at all.
You called the fucking number. I trusted you, bitch.
What? Is it illegal for me to call that number? Probably not.
Said I trusted you to. For an untrustworthy person.
What? Just me calling that phone number?
Let's just not talk about it if it's not real.
What?
Yeah, like, why do we care? Why do we
It's just not
care
talk
about doxing?
I have
some guy?
verified that it's total bullshit.
This
Well-
is such a waste of time. Like, let's talk about God or something.
What? No,
Like,
no, it's some fucking website that's circulating around on Discord that is just all fucking lies. People are believing it because Clint believed in it first.
I would never have called him.
So I was making sure that it was 100% bullshit, and it is. Everything that is said on that website.
What website is it?
Don't you worry about it.
Website.
The more you
No,
talk
I-
about it, the more it's going to
not
get
encourage
propagated.
doxing of any kind.
Now
I
the
think
poor
doxing is
motherfucker that
bullshit.
has that phone number, he has no idea who the fuck Dawkins is. Probably getting prank called today.
yeah, like I don't know why any like
Yeah,
sensible
it'd be
person
worse.
would trust a phone number they find on a Discord server. Like,
Because they're not sensible, probably.
I never thought about it like that, my friend.
Dude,
Echoing.
Where's that echo
Man,
coming from?
very intriguing creature.
Matt to Cat, I think, is the one with that. Oh no, it's Braveheart has the echo.
Hard. Fix your shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
think
I don't. Unless somebody's like a fucking child molester or something that's breaking the law, which doxing. If somebody's molesting kids, they can go for it. Somebody's raping bitches, go for it.
So I asked for that guy that was named on the website, and it was the guy that answered.
Wonder if I'm trying to think under. I don't know American privacy laws. Is this sort of thing illegal in the United
But
States?
I mean, Mr.
Depends
Darth
on-
Dawkins isn't doing anything illegal. He's
That's a pathetic clickbait, if anything.
Would you be willing to sacrifice your privacy for a better world?
For me, yeah.
No.
how much
Don't we-
privacy
don't
and
we
how
do
much
that all the
better.
time?
You're very
Sort
fast.
of evolve into degeneracy, so
Drop $1
it's,
billion in my lap, sacrifice my privacy.
Clint, your very thoughts.
People
No, not
sacrifice their
I'll be
privacy
right
all
back.
the time for a better world. They give their privacy to all kinds of advertisers and marketers in exchange for free use of internet services.
Yeah,
Or,
Google.
You know,
I'm a
use of certain apps
customer.
on their phone.
That's why I
Very
said,
calm.
what would you give your privacy up for?
I think
We could be having a drought in the UK right now.
The EU has taken a relatively significant step towards preserving privacy of its citizens.
So, who's a radical atheist?
An ape? A radical ape? I don't know.
Drunk?
We just need
radical
to find the next black person in
black
the
people?
chat and find who's the radical ape.
Radical atheist. Radical atheist.
No. I don't think you can say completely either one way or the other. I think it's probable and rational that God exists, but god damn it, the echo sucks.
Braveheart,
it?
fix
Just
your
mute
fucking
them.
mic, man. I'm gonna mute you.
Just mute him for now.
Yeah, just give him a temporary mute.
No.
It's awful.
Does anyone have any
Well, the
idea
worst thing is when you're
what's
talking and you
gonna
can
come out
also
of
hear
this
your.
summit at all? Does anyone have any sense of what the goals are?
I think there may be Brexit goals in there. Within
I
it.
think I'm gonna become a Philadelphia 76ers fan because being a Portland fan is
What do you mean by Brexit goals?
I think Brexit is a major issue at play between the EU and the rest of the world right now because, believe it or not, Britain's economy is a part of the global economy. And if that tanks, that will necessarily have an impact on the rest of the world's economy.
What does their economy import and export?
That's a good question. I may not know specifics. I only know generality.
Financial services, I would bet, is a significant import and export. I don't know what else they do.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not asking because I'm doubting. I'm like, I genuinely want to know.
That's
what
something you would
Britain
have to look into yourself. There's particular models and particular things that people look at as to what and how they're doing it, but I can't tell you for certain. That's someone who's got a far more precise knowledge on the economy of Britain. But I do know generally that if a major economy, and Britain's is the 5th largest economy in the world, if it goes, that will necessarily have an impact on the rest of the global economy. I know that for certain.
So it looks like, so Britain's top 10 exports: machinery and computers, vehicles, mineral fuels including oil, gems and precious metals, pharmaceuticals, electrical machinery, aircraft and spacecraft, optical, technical, medical apparatus, plastic articles, and organic chemicals. That accounts for 70% of Britain's exports.
Wow.
So generally, looks like high. Lots, or decent parts of it are high. I don't know how to call it. Require skilled labor. Oops.
Yeah, that begs the question: what kind of skilled labor is necessary in order to have those kind of exports? Because they talk a lot about immigration. It's like, okay, well, the immigrants you have coming to the country, you can make the argument that they're educated, but are they educated in the know-how of the specific fields that are required to live within Britain or the UK?
Probably not. The average IQ of a Somalian is 68.
I don't care
I'm just
about
throwing
that.
about that. That means they'd be considered mentally retarded by United States like mental health standards.
No, I understand, but like you have to realize, and you have to look at it individually. It's probably the hardest way to go about it, but it also is the best way to go about it, because I think it's unethical to apply any individual an entire group characteristic or a category which cannot necessarily define that individual completely.
Well, I think it's unrealistic to do individual screening for millions of people.
Yeah.
It's idealistic, sure,
Canada
but
screens all its immigrants. What do you mean it's unrealistic to do individual screening?
Well, you can screen them,
What
but
tra-
you
Canada
also
has
have to
one of the
filter them
largest
into categories
largest
that you
immigration.
prefer to look at before others, because you can't just have a giant pool of people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just sounds impossible to have like millions of people and just have a
Ye-
task force going through them one by one.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that Canada's so-called screening process isn't quite as in-depth as it should be. Like, what do you mean? What is their screening process? You've
Well,
committed no crimes in your home country? Like, is that it? Or are they also going to screen the
Not at
ones
all.
with like sub 70 IQs who could not fucking exist in their own country, so they're giving it another go?
There's
And
multiple
They use
socialist
factors that you
Canada.
need to look at
They
when
use
doing individual
proxies.
screenings.
They use both income or wealth as well as their qualifications. So usually, like looking for a degree or jobs that Canada wants to have. In the case of refugees, there's a significant vetting
Oh, hey,
process on
Trump,
each
Trump,
individual.
Trump, the thing. Trump, live stream in general chat now.
Spit it out, whoever was like stuttering about Trump, please. I need to know.
I agree, Little Bo Peep. I think we can employ massive amounts of people to screen individuals.
I think we should employ massive amounts of people to deport individuals.
I agree.
I mean,
We gotta
part
get
of
them
the-
damn
part of
niggers
the
out of our
process
country.
would be necessarily to deny and approve individuals. So
No, but we gotta deport the ones that are already here that we don't want.
the ones that are already here that we don't want.
The ones who come here and then commit crimes and
Who are
participate
the
in
ones?
fucking pedophile rings, like in the UK. You look at you know how they just busted that like huge underage girl grooming thing.
I
Like
do.
when you look at the mug shots, they're all fucking like Middle Eastern.
Okay.
You don't think
You know-
America has a
you do
significant
realize
problem
you're
with
committing
crimes within its
fallacy there,
citizens?
right?
Come
It's
on.
almost like we shouldn't massively import Muslims.
No. You're committing a compositional fallacy where you're applying the qualities and qualifications of a individual or a collection of individuals to a larger set of individuals.
No, I'm
So
just
basically,
informing the
it's
general
not-
culture
it's not-
and how that group of people tends to react, and I understand.
No. What's gonna happen is I won't be able to argue with Matt to Cat because I do not have any statistics on hand to back all this up, and he'll just keep calling logical fallacies, and that is exactly what will happen. So
That's fine. I mean, you can bring statistics to the table. That'll be lovely.
I don't have any. That's what I'm saying. But
Sure.
so I'm basically not going to be able to quote unquote
Okay, that's
win an
fine.
argument with
If you
you.
were to bring statistics to the table, right? You would be bringing forth models of groups of people. The problem with that, though, is that those models can never represent an
At
individual.
the individual
as-
level.
If
Oh
the model
yes.
is 99% accurate, you can't be like, but that 1% of people, though.
Yeah, there's always outliers.
Okay,
like,
that's if
it's
you
like
got a
Dane.
99% accurate model of an entire group of people, I'd
If
love
it's
to see
over
it.
50%, that's still extremely significant.
Yeah, but it doesn't account for all values and variables.
Well, no, it doesn't. Just like it wouldn't account for the 1% that's not represented in the 99% accurate model.
Right, but you're talking about hypotheticals here, right? I'd love to see
Yeah,
a
this is a hypothetical, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that even if something is accurate over 50% of the time, that's still extremely, accurate and significant.
Sure, but you can't apply that to all individuals who meet that category.
You can't apply them on an individual level, but you can look at them and make good assumptions about groups of people based on the collected statistics.
Okay, you can make assumptions, right? Are you making judgments from those assumptions, or are you just observing those assumptions?
No, I would make judgments.
Right, you're just making observations, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
would judge.
I mean, that's
groups of
fair.
people
I think that's
by
fair.
their
You can make
statistics.
observations of the models you have, but you can't apply that model to an individual and make judgments to that individual based on that model.
I can't go up to a specific individual and say, "Hey, guy, this definitely applies to you." Okay, like no doubt.
No,
'cause
of
that's
course, yeah.
retarded, of course. But I can look
Yeah.
at a group of people that a person belongs to and say, "There's a high probability that they're going to act like X, Y, and Z."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if you have a model that predicts something.
Well, can we? I just want to take a step back and ask, like, why are they coming here all of a sudden? What's going on in the middle? Like, why is the
Where's
Middle
here?
East being
Oh,
such
it's being
a
destabilized.
special? It's been
Jews.
destabilized for the past fucking 20, like 2 decades. Like, why now? Why are they coming in fucking droves or whatever now? Like,
Because a destabilization occurred.
what destabilization? The Middle East has been fucking fucked since the Ottoman Empire got nay-nayed on in World War One. Like, ever since it got split up, everyone's been fighting. No one's been happy, especially since after Israel came into being. Like, why now? Somebody
It was Gaddafi who said that he was the barrier between the droves of migrants and Europe, right? So when he was deposed, the wall fell, and they had a way to go.
Shit, I guess you're right. Guess they're just coming here now to fucking do their thing.
We gotta send them all back.
hmm The issue is I look like one of them, so I'd probably be caught up in all of it if there was ever some sort of
What
fucking
ethnicity are you?
purge.
But you could be Italian and be in America, and no one knows what the fuck you are.
Well, actually, I just look like a Pajit because apparently, well, not apparently, I've always known I'm like 20% West African, right?
Mhm.
But I just look like a Pajit, so it's sort of funny that I'm saying all this, even though 90% of people think I'm Middle Eastern.
So
Oh yeah,
Still
I
gonna
don't
send them all
know
back.
what you think I am. I always try to figure that out. I've been called a plethora of things from Jew to white to Middle Eastern to Italian to Cuban to literally like a plethora of different things. I doubt that anyone can categorize me absolutely.
I want to know how you look Cuban and Jewish simultaneously.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, he's gone, huh?